man. Good luck. 4, 3, 2, 1. On your way. Good luck.
All right, so race number 4 of the CRCA Club Series. This is my first race as a Cat 4 racer. So after the last race, I had enough points where I had to upgrade to Cat 4. I'm still in the C field, so remember the C field here is Cat 4 and 5. Although I think I will be making the jump to the B field with the Cat 3-4s.
Wait, neutralize at the start?
Just so I have a bit of a different experience. And one thing about this race today that's a little different from the last couple of Central Park races is that we're not neutralized at the start.
You gonna go away?
I might, I'm cold, dude.
So the race is on right away. And that's because the construction at the north end of the course is pretty much complete. So there's no more giant barriers that's narrowing the road there. So we were standing around for quite a bit before the race started, so I'm feeling a little chilly. I did want to warm up. And I think at this point we already had someone up the road, so I see him and I thought, you know, that's a good reason for me to go chase. So I do. And this kind of sets off a series of events where the first lap of the race is just, really quick pace. We actually end up dropping quite a few riders on the first lap. I think it's because of this first little effort here. So I think this rider from Collado Sportswear had the same thought as me. Maybe it was a little chilly at the start. Although I think he is pretty eager, more eager than most to go on the parts of the course like Harlem Hill or Cat's Paw. 514, he's always the one sending attacks out of nowhere. So I see here he's kind of slowed down, so I wanted to keep the pace high. I don't think I'm quite warmed up yet at this point, so I hop on the front and start drilling it. The race today, a couple of teams represented, as always. I think Pedal Power had the strongest showing. I think they had about 6 or 7 guys at the start, so we were kind of looking out for them. And then the course today is a little different than the other races, so I kind of like the CRCA Club Series for this reason, because every race, the course finishes at a different location, so every race is slightly different. You're not doing the same, sprint finish or other, it's not the same finish every time. So every race is a little bit different when it comes to strategy. The finish for this race is at Engineers Gates. So it's a long, flat kind of sprint finish, as opposed to like the more uphill finishes that we've had in the last 2 races, and also at the Mangione Race Clinic. So essentially my plan coming into this race was either, try and force a breakaway and win that way, or kind of hold out till the end and try and position myself for the field sprint as best as I can. I'm not the strongest breakaway rider, and I'm also not the strongest sprinter, so I did have to kind of, do have to be a little bit aware of what other people are up to, I guess, and make sure I can have enough juice to respond to any moves that are going. So here we're coming up to Harlem Hill for the first time. I am warmed up. This guy, 542, and his teammate CO, 343. Really strong riders, especially 542. He is just an absolute watt monster. I think he averaged over 300 watts for the race. Essentially, you see him on the front right now, and he basically was on the front for most of the race. And I think riders like him are the reason why breakaways don't tend to happen in the C field here. So we're going up Harlem Hill for the first time. I think I'm a little tired at this point. But yeah, I got to stick with the group. And I think when I looked back at this point, there was already a gap forming. There's definitely a front group, which is the group up ahead, and then behind me there is a little bit of a gap. So riders are already starting to get dropped here. And you can see it's pretty strung out, single file. So definitely the pace is pretty brisk, especially for the start of the race. And yeah, for this race, they're making us wear the yellow armbands, basically, so the park department can identify us in case of any jogger lane violations or violations of any of the other rules that they have in place. It's important to stick to the rules so that we can continue racing in the parks. Although New York City did recently implement this law where police can now stop cyclists and give them criminal citations, not just regular traffic citations, but criminal ones where you have to show up to criminal court instead of traffic court for things like running a red light or running a stop sign or jaywalking or whatever while on the bike. I honestly think it's a little ridiculous, right? Like, you're not going to get a criminal penalty if you're in a car and you're running a red light. So honestly, not really sure what they were thinking with that one. But yeah, we'll see how things unfold. We've already had a couple of people in the community get pulled over, and seen a couple of things on social media with the new law. Maybe it's targeted at the delivery, the DoorDash drivers or the DoorDash riders. Who knows? And I guess speaking of moving to North Carolina, I will be completing the move at the end of the month in May. So end of May, I'll be moving. Originally my plan for this season was to go for the GC in this club series. So I think right now I'm in contention. I'm not, Max is in the lead by a pretty significant margin. But I think if I continue the season, I would be in contention. But because of this move, I did want to try something, try a different field. So the B field with the Cat 3.4s. Just wanted to experience what that is like. Because my girlfriend is staying in New York City, I'll still come back for the rest of the year for this race series. So I could go for the GC or try and go for GC if I wanted to. Oh yeah, here we're passing the women's field. Yeah, we're riding along at a pretty nice pace. Because I think in the last race we didn't pass them until after the first lap. In this race, we passed them within half a lap. So, once again, goes to show my point about the pace that we were setting. But yeah, speaking of my move to North Carolina, I am in contention for the GC. But, because I likely won't do this series again next year, I do want to experience what the B field is like for this club series. I think the riding in New York City or, in this club series is at a pretty decent caliber. There's some pretty young guys, pretty fit guys that are racing in this series. So I think it'd be good to try and experience the next level up, so to speak. So here Steve goes for a move. Kind of getting some flashbacks to our breakaway attempt at our last race. I was a little worried that it was going to rain during this race, so kind of glad that you'll see later on that it doesn't rain. But yeah, early on in the race it did seem a little dicey. You can see some of the raindrops on the camera lens. The ground is still a little wet. Steve pulls off. I guess it's my turn to drive the pace. I don't know why, but every time I find myself at the front or out in the wind, I always put down way over my FTP. I mean, it's still early on in the race, but yeah, I guess I don't really have a reason to push the pace so hard. It's a 5-lap race, so not short, but not long, but also not that short. And it is a sprint finish, so it's in my interest to save energy. But I guess it's also in my interest to try and push the pace and tire out the sprinters or the folks who are more inclined to sprinting. Yeah, but anyways, that was my turn.
Thanks.
Try to find a wheel to get back on. We're still kind of strung out single file, so the pace is still pretty decent. So here we're heading up Cat's Paw where the race started, but it's not where the race is going to finish. The race finish is about a mile down the road. So in my head, I thought if I started sprinting at Cat's Hill at the finish, right, there's no way I'm going to be able to sustain that till the end. Definitely going to fade, and then I'm kind of left vulnerable to the sprinters. So if it did come down to a field sprint, I wanted to, find a wheel and try and get a little lead out. So this is the long straight that's going to be part of the sprint finish. So pretty wide, pretty flat, obviously pretty straight. So yeah, perfect for sprinters. And it is pretty long, so if you really do have to time it right to make the most out of it. There's the finish line. So we really settled in at this point. My heart rate's recovered. I'm pushing under 200 watts. There's no one really at the front drilling it at this point. I guess everyone else must have been recovered too. Maybe feeling a little antsy. Because Ryan here on the left, he goes. And CO here, 343, he goes. So obviously there's a lot of energy in the legs here. So, I followed them. Still early on in the race. I want to get a good workout in first and foremost. No point in tail gunning, I guess, other than if you really, really want to win. So yeah, this is the section where there used to be the fences and half the road was closed off and it was a little dicey, but now it's back to normal. There's still 2 hairpins that you have to navigate, which is a little tricky. So you do still have to have some decent bike handling, but at least the risk of crashing and the consequences of crashing if you do crash are a little bit lower there now because the walls and fences are gone. So 514 sends a move up on the right. CO hop on his wheel. But given the race history and what I know,
Don't waste your energy on that guy.
Yeah.
That guy ain't doing shit. No?
No.
No, he ain't doing shit.
Nah.
Wait, he's not. Are you on the same team?
No, he's not. Yeah, I'm not talking about the other guy that jumped.
Yeah, he'll fade in half a lap.
so yeah, I think everyone else also knows this. So yeah, we don't chase. We just let him kind of dangle. There's one guy chases, or 2, but there's no real urgency from the rest of the group. I mean, we're on a downhill. I'm starting to think now that Harlem Hill is maybe not the best place to attack because the energy cost of doing so is so high, and then once you get to the top, like there's this big downhill, and if you're in the pack, it's really easy to catch back up. Looks like we've actually caught them, and I'm still at 173 beats per minute, which is, barely threshold for me. Max heart rate of 200. So we've caught them. I guess there's a little counterattack. Actually, counterattack by Steve. I think NYCC or Seotosh follows, and then I decide to follow as well. I think when I followed, I brought the rest of the pack, so it's, yeah, like there's, the breakaway doesn't go. I think they looked back and recognized it, so they shut it down. Oh, it was actually Neil, the Watt Monster, Seotosha's teammate. So actually that could have been a successful break if they kept hammering. I guess good thing I reacted. and brought the rest of the field with me. So I guess that's how you weld the gap back together. Yeah, we still have an hour left of racing, 20 miles left. It'd be a pretty long way to go by yourself or with one other person. And yeah, this race we didn't get lapped by anyone, and I count that as a win. So any race where you're in the lowest field and you're not getting lapped by, or you're not getting lapped by the P12 field, I think that's a win. I also noticed that this race Max isn't tail gunning like he was the last race. He's I guess taking his time at the front or towards the front. Even though he's a sprinter, I was honestly like really worried about him coming into this race. I thought for sure he would win, just because he's such a strong sprinter and the finish, would suit him so well. Found myself out by myself in the wind, and just decided to keep pushing, let the momentum push me forward. I find myself pulling the group along again at over my FTP. I'm pretty tired at this point. 187 beats per minute. That's a little rough. And they send a counterattack. And I'm like, damn it. So I chase. Obviously, don't want them to get away. Yeah, I should have learned from my last race. Like, these solo moves into, the headwind or into the crosswind, it's just, they're so hard to make work. And you can see with the wind today, like, basically the whole course is crosswind. So we bring back another attack, and I think we kind of settle into a nice pace once again. Yeah, I had to pull off to the side and spit. The allergy season this year in New York City was insane. And yeah, you can see here on the left, Siotosh sends a absolute ripper off the left. No one follows him. We all just collectively decide to let him dangle. I'm actually falling back because I want to check out what's going on in the back of the field. And I thought at this point, hey, if Max isn't tail gunning, maybe I'll try tail gunning for a little bit. Back here we find all the pedal power guys. I think they lost a couple of guys since the start. So I don't think I saw all of them. Maybe I counted wrong at the start. But yeah, they're back here chilling. So I link up with the designated sprinter, allegedly, from Pedal Power. Alexandro, he got second place last race. He's got a pretty strong sprint. And yeah, he's tail gunning back here. We chat a little bit about how the field was dropped.
What's up, dude? Good. You at the front? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were more people, right?
There was way more.
Yeah, shit.
We shot like at least 15 people.
Fuck. Yeah, after that first time I fell, I was like, shit, there's a gap.
Meanwhile, they're doing something at the front. I suppose they're chasing back CO, or they've already chased him back. But yeah, things were good at the back. Not super crowded. Not as crowded as I thought it would be. I guess because we did lose some people the first lap.
Are you the designated sprinter?
Allegedly.
Allegedly?
What's the name?
Oh, shit.
They were like, finish line is flat, that's all you.
That's all you?
I think the draft is definitely better in the back because you have obviously you have more bodies blocking the wind, but also you have a longer line of bodies in front that have blocked the wind before you. I don't know if you've ever done this thing in the swimming pool where everyone runs around in a circle and then you suddenly stop, but the water's still moving, so you know it's actually hard to stop. So same concept here, but with the air, I guess. Yeah, sitting in the back, pretty nice. But yeah, the pollen situation this year has been pretty crazy in New York City. This race, I was getting all kinds of stuff in my eyes, in my nose, in my mouth. I had to spit a bunch of times. I think leaves are falling in my mouth. but also like there was a lot of pollen even after the rain. There's still a lot of pollen in the air. I was sniffling, my eyes were watering. Last year it was okay. The allergy season was okay, and I actually never had allergies before moving to New York City. And then the first year I moved, it was a really bad allergy season. Last year was okay, and then this year, yeah, pretty bad. Like even when I visited North Carolina, and there was, during their kind of peak allergy season where there was a thin layer of pollen over everything, even that was okay. So I think it's even just like the type of plant that's around New York City that's that my body doesn't like. Well, the race is really kind of settled in. I'm doing zone 2. Feels like a zone 2 group ride at this point. I'm feeling pretty great. I think I should probably try and aim to minimize the energy that I'm spending, try to maximize the amount of time where the race feels like this for me instead of, pushing at the front all the time. It's always hard because like with these local races, obviously you want to get a good workout. You want to be competitive, and also you want to be in the pictures with the photographers. We do have a couple of photographers that show up to these races, and you generally only get pictures, or you have better odds of getting in those pictures if you're towards the front of the pack. So yeah, it's a lot of trade-offs. And obviously, like I said before, there's no prizes for winning, especially in the C field. I was pretty pleasantly surprised last race to win a set of tires, but that was an open race, slightly different nature of event than these regular club races. So through the hairpin, I did move up a couple wheels. I felt pretty good going through them, but some people were on the brakes, maybe a little hesitant with the bike handling. Also, Collado Sportswear, they got these cool new jerseys, so they're no longer like the red color that they were wearing before, or maybe that was their winter kit, who knows. But now they've got these kind of tie-dye on black, really cool looking jerseys, very nice. I almost didn't recognize them until someone pointed them out. I was like, oh yeah, Collado Sportswear. I remember those guys. So since we're racing with the same people every week, like I'm pretty confident that no successful attack is going to go off the front. We've seen plenty of attacks last couple of races, even in this race. All get brought back relatively quickly. So it's okay to tail gun, I think. Here I just kind of save my momentum from the downhill. There's also this other guy up here, so I try to make it up to him.
Come on, Max!
Max starts yelling at me to go. I thought
Go!
he was gonna try and join the breakaway, so I go, and I look back, and there's a gap, which is good, but also Max isn't there, so I was like what the heck, dude? And then this other guy from Dave Jordan, he hops on, or he starts drilling it. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is our shot. I'm actually, he's going pretty hard. He's going up and down. I'm trying to catch up and get on his wheel. I know we do have a pretty decent gap to the field at this point, so I was thinking maybe we have a shot, but again, like 40 minutes, 16 miles, that's still a pretty long way to go with just the two of us, especially on a course that's mostly crosswind. He looks back, sees the gap, sees me, gives me the elbow, says let's work together.
I got a team.
He said he's got a team. I don't know what that means. Like, maybe his team's gonna help stall the field for us. I don't know. I start chasing the moto, and I almost catch the moto, and I was like, oh great, I can get a pull from the moto. But he sees me and goes away.
Short pulls.
So yeah, short pulls, so we can recover. Fair enough. Yeah, this dude's absolutely ripping it because I'm struggling to stay on his wheel, and it's, you know, I'm behind him and it's a downhill. So yeah, pretty similar to the breakaway attempt that I tried with Steve last race. You know, same section of the course. So on the side of the course, the west side, there's you know, the what we call the Three Sisters. So it's a little more hilly. There's some more twists and turns. Allegedly, it's easier for the breakaway to get away here. So we try our best. I think I'm tapped out at this point because I remember at this point I was like looking down at the power meter. I'm like, oh, it's only 200 watts, 200 something watts, and I'm feeling pretty beat. I think I looked back when I was looking back at this point. The field was closing the gap on us. So I think Neil, he was leading the pack and kind of leading the attempt to bring us back. 300. I didn't catch his name after the race. Sorry for missing your name, by the way. But he, I think he's still determined. I look back, I see them gaining. I'm like, hey, maybe. I'm like, hey, they're gonna catch us.
They're gonna catch us.
I pull off. I think he tries to keep going. I just want to recover, but then he's still kind of pushing. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll get back on his wheel. Maybe the chase will get tired. But here I'm in like the worst possible position, like no man's man, not on his wheel, not close to the pack. And honestly, maybe that's what it is. Like maybe the last two breakaway attempts I tried, they weren't successful because we didn't hold out long enough for the rest of the field to get tired. I guess I use this tailwind section to recover a little bit. But I think at this point we're pretty much caught. Like we look back and I mean he gives me the elbow flick and like good work. We're pretty much caught at this point, and yeah, maybe I was a bad brake fate. Yeah, maybe if I held out a bit longer to the brake attempt, maybe it could have gone further or been successful. I mean, this guy sends up a counterattack right after he catches us, and we just let him go. Someone says if he goes solo, I'm buying him a pizza.
He goes solo, I'll buy him a pizza.
Yeah, Neil, 542 brought us back. Dude's a absolute monster. Yeah, so he was asking if I did Bear Mountain last week. So Bear Mountain's the big open classic around here. Happened last week. I was marshalling, so I was sitting out in the rain for the whole afternoon. I got to ride my motorcycle, which was fun. And I got to see the P12 race, which was also fun. And I imagine marshalling there's a lot less stressful than marshalling in Central Park because there's, you know, you only have to deal with vehicles at controlled intersections and not pedestrians and dogs and strollers and all these other things that you have to deal with when marshalling in Central Park. I would like to do Bear Mountain Classic, but probably there's some races in North Carolina, probably Asheville or something that are similar in nature. So yeah, bit of a bummer that I have to miss out on such a prestigious event, at least for the area. But I'm sure there will be more chances to do those kinds of races in the future. So we've got about 2 laps to go. No one's that eager to keep pushing the pace. We've all kind of settled in. And honestly, I don't think much happens the next 2 laps because we have about 2 laps left, and I don't think there's anything really noteworthy that happens. So I go back to tail gunning. So I find Max in the back here. I'm asking about our buddy AJ. He's in the C field, and I didn't see him. So I thought we either dropped him, but actually it turned out he had a mechanical. So he punctured, got a flat. So that's a bit of a bummer for him. What I should have been doing at this point of the race is strategizing or like trying to you know, basically trying to like recon the course and figure out exactly where I needed to start my sprint for different scenarios, right? Like if someone started the sprint early, where should I start sprinting? Or if I, you know, got let out by someone, where should I start sprinting? But yeah, my mind was just kind of off because, yeah, the ride was chill now. Like we're recovering, we're settled in, and yeah, little did I know how consequential like the little margins would be at the end of the race. Should have been thinking a little bit more at this point. Yeah, I mean, I had blood to spare at this point. Like the blood wasn't all going to my legs, so there was some left over for my brain. I think maybe it's too much recovery. Someone made a move off the front. It did get a little strung out, single file, just for a moment. I think Steve's talking about our breakaway attempt. Said it was really similar to the one that we tried.
Your attack officially made it further than ours. Yeah. You made it like what, an extra couple hundred meters, right? Oh, we also started later. I think it was about the same distance. How did you feel? I felt alright. You had a lot of work. Yeah. At least early on. Yeah, yeah. You recovered since then, right? Yeah, yeah. We dropped like half the field. Yeah. No, I was cold at the beginning. I was like, fuck, I'm trying to warm up. Yeah, yeah, that's a good call. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now I'm warm.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a coffee ride at this point. Like my heart rate's at 140. We're talking in full sentences. Life's good. What can I say? Yeah, everyone has the same idea. We're approaching the last lap, so I'll try to save a little bit of energy, what energy we can, for the field sprint. So the guy that I did the breakaway with, we chat about how's the bell lap coming up. He asked what's my plan. And yeah, in that moment, I really didn't want it to come down to a bunch sprint. But also, I had no real plan. Like I was just gonna follow whatever unfolded. I guess that's kind of the downside of racing solo. Like you just have to, you're at the mercy of pretty much what unfolds at the end of the race, especially if it comes down to a field sprint. I guess in the lower categories, you know, the C field or, you know, Cat 4-5s, I guess it's okay. Like most people aren't on teams. Like most people, there's more solo riders than not. So more people are in that boat. So the relative advantage of being on a team and having a organized strategy is maybe less. But yeah, kind of eager to see how that changes as I move up, you know, as I race in the B field with the Cat 3-4s. We'll see. Here we go, belt lap. As that gave the boys the motivation they needed. We're all strung out once again, so I guess the pace is being pushed as it should on the bell lap. And the sun comes out.
Sun's out!
Yeah, definitely no rain. Quite the opposite, actually. It's actually pretty beautiful scene, if I say so myself. Max is happy the sun is out. Maybe back a little sore. Or maybe showing off for the cameras, who knows. So just gotta make sure no moves go off Harlem Hill. So I guess someone did go off the front after Harlem Hill. I didn't even realize it, but yeah, there is a guy up there like watching this footage back now. but everyone just lets him dangle and we bring him back.
Yeah.
Got DoorDash, e-bike.
It's the lead out.
We missed our lead out. So here, I didn't see this during the race, but Ryan gave Steve a little tap, I guess to kind of signal, hey, let's work together. Get into the drops here. Ryan gives Steve a tap. I'm like, oh shoot. Here comes the move, and I'm able to respond right away because I'm right behind Steve. And yeah, that one does not get away. So yeah, sorry Ryan. I brought the rest of the pack with me. Yeah, Ryan was pissed after the race. He was like, yeah, I looked down, I did 900 watts, and then I looked back and the whole field's with us. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. I'm sorry, bud. Had to shut that one down. Good move though. 2.5 miles, 6 minutes. Would have been a hard move to make stick. But I guess sorry to shut it down so quick. So in the home stretch here, so yeah, teammates are trying to find each other. I'm trying to figure out the positioning. I figured I was a little too far up, so I wanted to slip back a couple places. Got swarmed. Probably not the best to get boxed in like this. Other biker. Yeah, those where things start to get a little dicey. Or, you know, at least in the last couple of races had the potential of being dicey. I think Seal here is trying to hop on the wheel of his teammate. Brandon here, 359 on the left, is kind of in the way. Gives him a little shoulder bump. I guess Brandon wasn't expecting it. He gets angry. I mean, yeah, it was an aggressive move, but you know, Seal just wanted to be on the wheel of his teammate. I thought it was a fair move. I mean, it is something we went over in our skills clinic, right? Like before every race, all the CRCA club members have to attend a skills clinic, and one of the first drills we do is bumping shoulders. Because it is a pretty useful skill, I guess, right? Like, if someone is blocking you from being on the wheel of your teammate, you know, it can be a good thing to bump them out of the way. Plus, Brandon has a little extra adrenaline now for the sprint. The 514 telling Max to chill out. I think that's some mind games. And then Koyato just absolutely sends it up the left.
Oh shit, here we go.
And yeah, Cat's Paw. This is usually I didn't want to sprint all the way because, yeah, we still have, what, 3/4 of a mile left? So it's not the right time to go all out and empty the whole tank. So I'm still biding my time at this point, being patient. And we get over the crest to this other hill, and there I see those 3 guys up there is pedaling away, and I'm like, oh shoot, no one's chasing. We're, you know, within half a mile of the finish line. So I panic a little bit, and I chase. I thought that they were, I honestly thought that they might have been like part of another race because they had gotten such a gap on us in that short amount of time. But yeah, it wasn't the case. They were in our field, so we absolutely had to hustle and try and get them back. So yeah, actually Max here came to save the day, give Steve and also myself a nice little lead out. Ceo's lost his teammate, so he doesn't get a lead out. And yeah, so it's a sprint to the finish here. I should have launched here. This is where I should have launched all the way, and then yeah, just not a very good sprint. I get passed by two others. So I come in 6th. Just missed 4th by, you know, half a bike length, not even. So if I timed my sprint a little better, could have been a 2-place better outcome and a lot more GC points, but that's okay. It was a club race. I had fun, didn't crash out. Yeah, hopefully next week we'll be in the B field. But yeah, honestly, this was a lot of fun. And yeah, see you next week. Thanks for watching.